The Lord of Levin is returned to the Aether, as was Leviathan before him. Ramu's acquiescence was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Crag, Whirl, and Levin all have now been humbled by the Bringer of Light. The limitless potential of man, Hydaelyn's servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet she prospers at great cost to her mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls have grown weak and wan. Yet even as it enervates, the ardour empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds were ever wont to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Now the matter of Ramu has, for the present, been put to rest, there's something I would show you. It's a letter of thanks signed by the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance, acknowledging the Scion's tireless service to the realm. It mentions in particular the names of all the defeated primals: Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, Good King Mughal, Leviathan, and now Ramu. Needless to say, there's only one among our number to have faced them all. And though these words of gratitude were addressed to our order as a whole, I feel that they were meant for you above all others. I too must offer my heartfelt thanks for all that you've done. In the course of your duties, you've never once failed to answer my call to arms. You're a true hero, and Eorzea is that much safer for your presence. Pray do not misunderstand me. I said safer, not safe. I know only too well that we can ill afford to lower our guard. The Ascians may be relied upon to sow chaos in this realm until such time as they are forced to stop. Why, even without their encouragement, you may be assured that man would foment strife on his own, and that is to say nothing of the beast tribes. Unless we learn to live in harmony, the primals too will return to plague us again and again and again. And yet, despite all of this, your deeds serve to inspire the people, to give them hope for a better tomorrow, and there is no greater gift. That we have the courage to strive for what might otherwise seem an impossible peace, we owe in no small part to the dangers you have faced on our behalf, and the people you have won over to our cause in so doing. Our list of enemies has ever been long, but think of the allies with whom we are now blessed. Of the sylphs of Little Solace, who wish naught of conflict. Of the Alamegans and the Domans who stand with us, determined to halt the dread march of the Empire. And then there are the many unsung individuals who have gathered here in Revenant's Toll, honest men and women who seek to employ their skills for the good of all. Of course, when speaking of our greatest allies, we must not forget those closest to us, by which I mean our fellow Scions. Thanks to their many and varied talents, our order is uniquely equipped to combat the far-reaching corruption of the Ascians, and combat it we shall. Your enthusiasm is truly heartwarming, Antecedent. Given our embarrassing wealth of allies, I trust it will not inconvenience you unduly if I absent myself for a time. Alphanal, I take it the troubles in Uldar no longer require your attention. There are yet some rumblings of discontent, but the air of simmering violence is largely dissipated. 'Tis to report such that I stand before you now. That, and to speak with you concerning the new organisation we discussed. I have a message for you from you remember the refugee girl? The one whose parents were missing? They were found unharmed. She wished me to pass on her thanks to you. Why, Afanel, am I to understand that you've made the effort to remember the poor girl's name? I look forward to reading all about her in your report. I do hope you left nothing out. You may have been away from Reverend's Toll for some time now, I believe. Might I suggest that you put the affairs of the realm to one side for the moment and take this opportunity to reacquaint yourself with the town? Which reminds me, one of the Doman children recently inquired as to your whereabouts. Yozan was his name. I believe he has some small matter he wishes to share with you. Why not oblige him with a visit? Look, she's back from her adventures. We heard you were off fighting primals and that they're some of the strongest enemies you could ever face. I wish I could have seen you in battle. Anyway, we all want to be heroes too, so we finally formed our very own Doman Adventurers Guild to protect all the Domans. Oh, do you think you could train us today? Maybe you could show us how you fought the primals? What's all this commotion then? Mr. Boulder and Mr. Coltonay, did you know that she's back? So it would seem. Welcome home. My companion and I but recently became full members of the Scions, and I believe proper introductions have yet to be made. I am known as Hoary Boulder, and this bookish fellow is Coltonay. Though we remain largely unproven as adventurers, we have taken it upon ourselves to instruct the Doman younglings in the arts of combat. Ugh, I told you, Mr. Boulder, we are not younglings anymore, we are adventurers. And we were just asking if she could give us some special training. I think we're ready to hunt monsters alongside her, don't you? Well, you've certainly been diligent with your drills, but I'm afraid the fiends of Mordana are still ever so slightly too dangerous for you. I have a counter-proposal. What if I were to cross swords with her? A demonstration of skill at arms, if you will. Hoary, if I didn't know you any better, and I do, I'd say you were merely seeking to test yourself against a legend. Well, mayhaps I am, but what matters the motive when the children stand to learn so much from the lesson? What say you? Would you consent to spar with me? Hooray! We're to have a tournament! Come on everyone, we must prepare our gear for an outing. Try not to disappoint them, Have faith, Coltonay. I shall summon every last ounce of my strength to make of this a worthy contest. The fields to the east of town should prove suitable for our purpose. I very much look forward to our bout. 'Twas good of you to agree to this. I trust you're ready to begin. Very well, let us not keep the younglings waiting any longer. Hoary, are you certain you wish to fight her alone? What better way to test my mettle? Pray allow me to attempt the first round, unaided. After all, 'twas this hero's legend that led me to join the Scions to begin with. Without her to inspire my efforts, I would not be half the warrior I am today. Your point is well made, but remember, this is for the children's sake as well as your own. Should it appear the contest will end too swiftly, I shall add my spells to your blade work. Hello, you haven't begun yet, have you? Ida, who are all these people? When I heard about your sparring match, I told everyone I could find. Thought you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Yes, and there are still more to come. When I mentioned her name, the reaction was quite enthusiastic. Why, my own popularity seems but a sickly shade in comparison. You'd best claim victory, bringer of light. Your burgeoning reputation is at stake. Well, our teacher won't be beaten so easily. He's a master swordsman. You can win, Mr. Boulder. We shall soon see. On your guard. You've bested me. I yield. That was incredible. She beat them both at the same time. We knew you couldn't lose. None can defeat the Guardian of Eorzea. Now I see why they send you to deal with the primals. I've much work to do if I'm ever to attempt the same. Impressive as always, 'tis ever a pleasure to witness the spectacle of your martial prowess. And judging by the smiles on these faces, they too appreciate the hard-won strength that keeps the perils of the realm at bay. Guardian of Eorzea, yes, that is a most fitting title. Do you recall when we first met? 'Twas at the memorial service for the Battle of Cartano. At the time, I was yet attempting to understand this land of Eorzea. I sought to grasp the reason why grandfather willingly sacrificed himself to protect it. I shall speak plainly. My initial impressions were less than favourable. Dire problems abounded, and yet the effort I saw expended towards their solution was haphazard and half-hearted. I thought Eorzeans a foolish and childish people. Considering the shambles their home was in, I would not have been surprised if someone had chosen to swear allegiance to Gaius and the order he proposed to enforce. The legatus's single-minded military invasion precluded any such switching of loyalties, of course. Were it not for a desire to continue grandfather's legacy, I would have abandoned the realm to its fate long ago. The threats were too many, the nations too self-involved and unstable. 'Twas you who convinced me the salvation of Eorzea was possible. 'Twas you who taught me, through countless acts of bravery, that what my grandsire sought to preserve was not the land, nor its history, nor any single nation. It was the people, these wonderful, oft infuriating, stubborn people that suffer blow after terrible blow, only to drag themselves back to their feet to face another day. Though he never put such feelings into words, I believe grandfather's admiration for this inextinguishable courage grew into a fervent wish, a wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. A wish that has now become my own. I too will endeavour to take up the mantle of Guardian of Eorzea, and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of a scale that cannot be solved by the signs of the seventh dawn alone. No, what is needed to tackle the root of the primal threat and effectively counter the schemes of the Ascians is a new expanded organisation that operates beyond the limitations of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organisation, then pray let us continue this discussion back within the walls of the Rising Stones. Thank you for coming. The world shifts and alters, and we, my friend, must ever be one step ahead of the chaos. What I propose is the formation of a new organisation, a group that shall pave the way for a true united Eorzea. Pray forgive me if I tread over old grounds, but I would first speak of the grand plan. Since the advent of the 7th Astral era, the leaders of the three nations have been deliberating over an accord that seeks to bring the disparate forces of Eorzea together into a single entity. A realm-wide grand company, if you will, the military might of such an institution would be drawn from every corner of the land and directed against threats that no single nation could hope to overcome alone. While the purpose of this hypothetical organisation is undisputed, the logistics of its formation have become the source of endless debate. And the longer these discussions continue, the more I sense the impetus towards unification draining away. Thus have I been campaigning for the creation of what might be considered a trial company. and it will be on a much smaller scale than what we hope to eventually achieve, but capable of the same manner of unrestricted operation accorded to the Scions. 'Tis my hope that the successful utilisation of such a force will lend momentum to the lagging deliberations. Also, being a primarily military outfit, I mean to assuage the fears of its misuse by placing the fledgling organisation under the authority of the antecedent. The Scions work tirelessly to protect Eorzea and its people. But as you yourself have witnessed with the refugee revolt, there are limitations to what we can achieve. With this new company under the Scion's command, however, we will be capable of responding to a wider range of difficulties without straining our resources or overtaxing your formidable talents. The goals of my proposed organisation and those of the Scions are ultimately identical, a point conceded by all concerned. But before I can move forward with establishing this precursor to the true border-spanning Grand Company, it is yet necessary that I visit the three leaders and gain their official approval. A tiresome and time-consuming task, which is why I would ask that you accompany me on the journey and attend to the business of recruiting our inaugural members while I am otherwise engaged with bureaucratic formalities. Thank you. 'Tis reassuring indeed to know that the Bringer of Light and her discerning eye will be selecting our future allies. Our first destination will be Limsa Lominsa. Let us rendezvous at Bulwark Hall. Ah, there you are. I'm ready to ascend the bridge and speak with Admiral Blofuswyn. While the Admiral and I are finalising promissory boundaries and signing parchments, I would have you begin the recruitment process in earnest. I have of course endeavoured to spread the word of our organisation through various channels, but I believe a personal approach will reach many who may otherwise remain ignorant of the opportunity. As for potential members, 'tis of no matter should they already be pledged to another institution, only that they are willing to lend their strength when the situation demands it. And you needn't range into the countryside. The upper decks alone are populated with sufficient candidates to suit our purpose. Once you are satisfied with your recruiting efforts, meet me at the airship ticket counter that we might prepare for the next leg of our journey. Master Arfanel's new organisation? Yes, I had heard the formation of his trial company was in the offing. 'Tis with regret, however, that I must decline your invitation. As commander of the Yellow Jackets, the protection of Limsa Lominsa must needs receive my full attention. An organisation with the freedom to operate with territorial impunity. I must say, your proposal intrigues me, but the Krakens well know that there is a time to act and a time to watch, and I'm afraid this trial company of yours falls into the latter category. Who in the bloody elves do you think you're talking to, Drylander? I'm a pirate, not some sodding knight in shining plate. If you're looking for a self-righteous fop, try knocking on that dandy Carverlane's door. A precursor to a united Eorzean Grand Company? While I do admire the scope of your ambition, my responsibilities here are to Noldeek and Vermelis. Keep me close to the forge. I have not the time to be traipsing hither and yon across the realm. Should you require my skills as an armourer, however, I might be willing to accept some special commissions. Well, if it ain't you, I'd not forget adventurer brave enough or daft enough to seek the shortcut into Titan's bedchamber. You remember old Riel, don't you? Formerly of the Company of Heroes? 3 whistles at Bronze Lake? It ain't often I drag me arse out to Limsa for a drink, but I'm right glad I did. How fare you these days? You looking to put together a new crew? Top tier work? Sounds like a right lark it does. Alrighty lass, count me in. The heroes may have gone their separate ways, but I ain't ready to climb into my grave just yet. Your recruiting went well, I trust. I'm curious as to how my proposal was received by the rough and ready folk of Limsa Lominsa. A member of the legendary Company of Heroes indicated his interest. Astonishing. I knew enlisting your aid was the right choice. Few could boast the acquaintance of such an elusive character. I too was successful in my task. The Admiral consented to sign all the documents requiring her approval. I can only hope that my visit with the Elder Seedseer proceeds as smoothly. Pray continue on to Gridania at your own pace. I shall await your arrival at Nofika's altar. My audience with the Elder Seedseer is due to commence momentarily. I would be grateful if you'd once more see to the task of recruitment here in Gridania. After you deem the well of potential candidates has run dry, let us rendezvous at the airship ticket counter as before. Oh gods, can it truly be you? By what fickle fortune must the first face I see upon my release be yours? Eh? Could it be that you don't remember me? It is I, Laurentius, the man whose crimes you exposed. I was a whaler and a regular patron at Buscaron's. Yeah, I remember. Well, of course you do. I was beginning to wonder if jail had changed me more than I realised. Not that I have any particular wish to be recognised after my shameful conduct. The less said of my past, the better, I suppose. And what of you, adventurer? What business brings you to this part of Gridania? Recruiting, eh? And what is your policy on reformed convicts? As matters stand, the wood whalers will have naught more to do with me. This may be just the second chance I was looking for. Revenant's toll, you say? I shall leave at once. You shall not regret this. I promise you, I'm a changed man. Grandfather, you must call it a day. Let us return to the guild and rest ere your tormented back gives up on you for good. I'm terribly sorry. We were just... Oh, it's been some time since our paths crossed outside the Copperbell mines. Why, you were barely more than a novice adventurer then, but look how far you've come. Mother Mion tells me 'twas you who felled the fearsome Black Wolf, and now you seek stout-hearted souls to fill the ranks of New Order. Well, your cause is undoubtedly just, and my old companion here would be much relieved to see me in good hands. Yes, I'll do it. This is the very thing I've spent my entire adventuring career working towards. I shall join your company just as soon as I've seen Isildur safely home. Cast it into the fire. You would offer this old man a place in your company of champions. I'm both puzzled and honoured by your invitation. Pray forgive me, young mistress, but I cannot accept. I've sworn to abide here by whatever scant years remain to me, and bear responsibility for the evils my lady has wrought upon this land. 'Tis not often a guild officer such as myself gets recruited, and this company of yours certainly sounds to have some promise, but its duties appear less than focused. I must refuse your invitation until such time as your organisation is more organised. Okay. What news? For my part, the elder Seedseer was more amenable to our requirements. A former wood whaler and a seasoned adventurer. Our company will not lack for variety, that much is certain. An interesting harvest indeed. Shall we strike into Uldar whilst the iron is hot? Let us meet at the Royal Promenade and endeavour to conclude our remaining business. Our journey draws to a close. Uldar, the gilded city where one's fortune defines one's worth. I hope some manner of fortune is with us, and that this final leg proves as successful as the previous two. Might I suggest descending to the lower level before beginning your recruitment efforts? I do not think the Sultana will take kindly to us poaching from her personal guard. Let us meet back here at the promenade when our respective tasks are complete. Good hunting. Wait, you're the lady who came to Little Alamigo looking for that masked devil. Who knows what might have happened if you hadn't? I'd probably be dead, and a whole lot more of my friends besides. We were such fools. Any road, that disaster really got me thinking about our homeland and about the outsider who saved us from ourselves. I realised how easily I've been manipulated, and vowed to make of myself a more worldly man. So here I am. A new company of champions, and you say it will take me to all corners of the realm? That sounds exactly like the kind of opportunity I need. And don't worry, I'm not the same stripling you met in Little Alamigo. I've prepared myself to fight the evil that I know is out there. Oh, what a happy coincidence! Do you remember me, perchance? I'm Orson of the Church of St. Adama Landama. Thank you again for your timely rescue. And I must also thank you for preventing that fraudulent priest from preying on dry bones less fortunate. A most upsetting business. Are you here with your companion? Thancred, was it? Ah, 'tis new companions you seek, then. Your proposed organisation sounds a powerful force for good, but my place is at the church with the children. Nevertheless, I wish you well in this undertaking. I'm sorry, you wish to recruit me. Is this some new-fashioned manner of propositioning a lady? Well, I'm afraid you're wasting your time. This lady is already spoken for. Good day to you, miss. Aye, you'd be surprised what rumours drift down to Pearl Lane. I know of this glory new company of yours, and just how far I'd go to avoid getting involved with it. Whispers on the street say your organisation is funded by corrupt coin, by syndicate money. If you think you're recruiting for a just cause, then you're a bigger fool than I took you for. A company that looks to cure the ills of the realm entire. Listen, friend, I can scarce bear the complaints of the next all over, let alone the conundrums of a neighbouring nation. How fared you? What hidden gems did the streets of Uldar offer up to your unrelenting gaze? A single Alamegan youth? Well, you've certainly given us an admirable start, even if our ranks are yet somewhat thin. In these troubled years following the calamity, talk of Eorzea's salvation must seem akin to grasping at clouds. But there are those who have risen to the challenge nevertheless, and the hope that inspires these people was born in no small part from the victories you yourself have won. Thank you. I will not squander the precious gift you've placed into my keeping. These recruits will become the foundation of a new beginning. And yes, we're free to begin. As you've no doubt surmised, the Sultana has graced my trial company with her blessings. Our first wave of recruitment is over, the documents signed and the finances secure. There's naught to prevent me from taking the next step. You're concerned by the syndicate's involvement, as was I. Thus was the origin of every coin of their contribution carefully scrutinised and recorded. This organisation will not be built on corruption. Naturally, I'd prefer not to rely on outside sources at all, but even my family's substantial coffers could not sustain a venture of this magnitude. And as for the rumours and doubts surrounding this enterprise, well, such things shall plague us until the company has had a chance to prove its worth. And it will not be an easy process, but we will earn people's trust one success at a time. Speaking of time, we should waste no more of it. Let us return to the Rising Stones and lay the first stone for a united Eorzea.
Tell me, General, what think you of Alfino's bold endeavor?
I think it is more than bold, Your Grace. His organization would pave the way for a united Eorzea. Well do I understand his impatience, since facing the common threat of the Ultima weapon, our nations have seemed farther apart, not closer together. Considering the many problems we face, should we not be glad that someone else is taking the initiative?
We have all pledged our cooperation, yet the grumbling continues behind closed doors. Ul'dah is not alone in her duplicity. I myself have doubts as to the good this organization will achieve. With the inclusion of the finest soldiers of the 3 grand companies, it promises to be a fearsome military body. But whom will it serve? Even under the watchful gaze of the Scions, it is not unthinkable that such a force could perpetrate a great wrong. Does it not concern you that a significant proportion of its financial backing came from the coffers of the Syndicate? That those unprincipled worms might forge this extraordinary gathering of warriors into a private army?
I have trust in the Scions, Your Grace. They have spared us no end of trouble at the hands of the Primals. If they seek reinforcements, I deem it unwise to deny them. As for their finances, full many gave generously. And though our nobles proffered a sizable sum, their coin did not spill from the pockets of Lolorito and his cronies. And what of the presence of our stalwart adventurer friend in this endeavor? I doubt the Warrior of Light would betray our cause.
Yes, there is that, I suppose. Yet I have known people to change. Whether we will or no, the events of the age hurl us this way and that, like a dust devil skipping across the sands. Cannot be done about Telechi?
I have explored all avenues available to us, Your Grace. But as Ul'dah law now stands, we lack the evidence to convict him of any crime. To arrest him on spurious grounds would only play into his hands.
He has all but committed treason, and yet we can do nothing? What worth the royal house? How deplorable this mockery of justice!
Have faith, Your Grace. It is not over.
That's not a journey I soon wish to repeat, but I cannot pause to rest. The culmination of all our effort is at hand. I must seize to the preparations for the inaugural ceremony. Thank you for allowing me to monopolise your services. I'm certain that the antecedent will be relieved to see you free for other duties. Greetings. Alphanel tells me all is in place to begin his trial company. The Scions shall certainly be grateful to have the support of such an organisation. The inaugural ceremony is to take place here at the Rising Stones. Totaro is cooperating with Alphanel to see all is in its readiness, so I'm afraid the recruits themselves have been left to their own devices for the time being. Quite a number of new faces have arrived in Revenant's Toll of late, and I wonder if Slaffborn might not find himself overwhelmed. Would you speak with him and see if there's aught he requires? What can I do for you? I thought you'd have your hands full helping out with the new arm of the Scions. Ha! I barely noticed your recruits arrive. 'Twas barely a trickle compared to the flood of treasure hunters we have passed through here every day. While I appreciate your offer of aid, 'tis more your burden that concerns me. I'm told this trial company will answer directly to the antecedent, so I trust that means less work for you in the long run. Slaffborn! The shipment! We couldn't... Godswoman, what befell? We were bringing a shipment to Revenant's Toll, provisions earmarked for the frontier effort. But just as we sought to cross over into Mordona, we were set upon by brigands. I believe they may have been heretics. They were too many. We only escaped with our lives by abandoning the supplies. Pray forgive us. There's naught to forgive. Provisions can be replaced, but smart soldiers are hard to find. Take your rest and I'll have someone along to tend to those wounds. What to do? If heretics are involved, then this is like to be more than a case of simple thievery. Ishgard will need to be informed. Whence did these supplies originate? Houseful Tom, we collected the provisions from Camp Dragonhead proper. Understood. I shall see that they're apprised of this development. Were you not on good terms with the Knights of Houseful Tom? I'll be sending them a missive immediately, of course, but I would also have you travel there and offer your considerable talents. Yes, I realise I contradict my earlier hopes to lighten your load, but I need someone who can help bring this incident to a satisfactory conclusion. Our favourable relations with Ishgard are far too important to risk half measures. Thank you for your understanding. I'm certain Lord Horschiefant will be glad of your assistance. Well, if it isn't my fine friend, would you care for a plate of roast caracal, some mulled wine? No? I see you've not come into my hall merely to escape the biting cold. I was in fact on the verge of opening an urgent missive from Revenant's Toll, and I suspect the timing of your arrival is no coincidence.
The incident with the new frontier hands? No, you need not elaborate. I have been following their progress with no small amount of interest. Brave men and women all. They do our nation a great service. The existence of a fortified outpost in Mordona will do much to dissuade the Empire from trespassing on Kurth's soil. Right glad am I that you have chosen to lend your support to this endeavor. Never let it be said that House Fort Tom does not acknowledge the efforts of her allies, or her debts. 'Twas in the spirit of gratitude that I arranged for sundry supplies to be delivered to Revenant's Toll. That the shipment should chance to be waylaid by heretics is poor fortune indeed. Poor fortune, I say, yet not without precedent. If you would know the truth of it, these incorrigible villains grow more organized with each passing day. This new unity of purpose we attribute to their leader, the Lady Iceheart. But though I have devoted significant resources to the task of identifying this woman, we have yet to learn so much as her birth name. What we do know is that the heretics speak of Iceheart in reverent tones, and would gladly embrace death rather than betray her. Such loyalty is rare indeed, and I fear to imagine what so committed a collective might achieve. The brigands have not yet been so brazen as to risk direct confrontation here in Dragonhead. Some few of their number have, however, been sighted not far to the west of here, and with ever-increasing regularity. A visit to Whitebrim Front may bring you the answers you seek. Will you brave the snows, knowing what implacable foes may lie in wait? Hallone's blessings be upon you! Though I take no pride in the admission, many of mine own countrymen are not so well suited as you adventurers to dealing with such foes. Were they dragons, it might be otherwise. But truly, I could not wish for a finer ally. You have done much for my house in the past, and I have no doubt but that I shall have cause to celebrate your deeds again ere long. Should you learn aught of value, pray return to me forthwith. A warm hearth and a warmer welcome shall be waiting for you.
Is there aught you would ask of me? Pray speak plainly, I'm a man of action, and need no honeyed words. On the trail of a band of thieving heretics, you say? By the fury, but you do seem destined to cross paths with those villains. I must confess then, 'tis a sad truth that the wilds hereabouts have indeed grown thick with their number. They strike swiftly without warning and are canny enough to evade our most able trackers. But 'tis not merely their newfound organisation that confounds us. The heretics themselves seem somehow changed. I know not what manner of influence this Iceheart wields, but the men we face seem utterly lost in the grip of righteous fever. 'Tis an unsettling and unnatural zeal. Mayhaps you would care to question one of their recent victims. As fate would have it, your arrival came moments after a trader was waylaid on the road. A patrol found the unfortunate fellow lying senseless in the snow, and carried him to our infirmary. Assuming he's regained the use of his faculties, the merchant might recall some small detail that could aid you in your task. Tell you what happened? Why yes, of course. I'm quite recovered enough for that. Anything to help catch those cowardly black hearts. I was travelling my usual route to Whitebrim Front when a sudden blow sent me reeling. The next thing I knew I was on the ground, and several heretics were rifling through my cargo. Arms, armour, crystals, they were taking everything. 'Twas then that one of them noticed my bleary gaze, and stalked over to better acquaint my head with his mace. Before darkness claimed me, however, I distinctly heard the words, "Return to Snowcloak." I dare say that is where they were hauling my goods, but you'll not catch me rushing off in pursuit. They tell me 'twas a miracle I survived at all, and I'll not trust my thick skull to save me a second time.